Now that we have created the layout, let's go to the description activity.kt file. Let's first declare variables for all the views. Book name, book author, book price, book rating, book image, book description, add to favorite button, progress bar and progress layout. We declared the variable for the progress layout because we want to hide this whole layout when the content is displayed. Now, inside the onCreate method, let's use the findViewById function to attach these variables to their respective views and view groups. Here, we have added these two lines of code for the progress bar and the progress layout because we want to show the progress bar when the activity opens till the time we get the actual data from the server. Okay, done. Now, let's first understand the next steps that we need to take. First, we want that when any of the items on the book list of the dashboard are clicked, the ID of that book will be sent to the next activity via an intent. The next activity will be the description activity screen that we created in the previous video. Second, this book ID is also simultaneously sent to the server in a post request, which will then send back a response. This response will be a JSON object. Third, we will parse this object and then display it in the views to the user. Simple enough? Let's go do it. Coming back, let's go to the adapter file and add an intent. So, we are adding this code for the intent. This intent will be used to navigate to the description activity from the dashboard fragment. The context will be the fragment's activity and the destination will be the description activity. Then here, we will use the putExtra method to put the book ID in the intent. Then, we will write this line. This start activity method is used when we want to open an activity from the current activity. And why do we use the word context? That is because every method related to the current activity is obtained using the context in the adapter file. So we are using context here to use the start activity method. Now we'll move to the description activity.kt file and obtain the book ID that we passed in the intent. To do this, we will first declare a variable that will store the ID and give it some random value. To obtain the ID that has been passed in the intent, we will use if-else. So, if the intent is not equal to null, we will use this code to get the book ID and store it in this variable book ID. Else, finish the activity and display a toast saying that some unexpected error occurred. Now we had given the value of this variable book ID as 100. So if nothing gets returned here, the value of this variable will be 100 and it will try to fetch the book for that book ID, which is not what we want. So if the book ID is 100, we will finish the activity and display the toast saying that some unexpected error occurred. Now if you see here, we are getting some suggestions from the IDE. If we hover over it, it says required string found nullable string. To resolve this, we can make our book ID variable of nullable string type. That being done, let's now send the book ID in a post request. But like we had done while sending the GET request, we will first check how the response will look like and what are the names of the keys which come in the response. And then we will learn how to send the request. So first let's open Postman. The link has been given in the helper text below the video. You will have to click on the link to go to the website and download Postman to use it. We have already done that. So here, you will first need to select this method of the request. Select Post here. Next, put the URL here. This is the URL of the API we have created. The URL has been given in the helper text below the video. Next, select Header here. In the window that opens up, type Content Type. For the value, type App and select Application/JSON from the drop-down that opens. In the next field here, type Token and give its value as the token that we had provided to you earlier. We are putting our unique token here. This won't work for you, so you will need to paste your unique token here. Now go to this Body tab. Here you will see these radio buttons. Select Raw, and in this large drop-down select JSON. Now inside this text window, we will write this code for the JSON object that we need to send to the server. Here we are sending a book ID to the server, and the server will send us the details for this book ID in the response. Once this is done, click on this Send button to send the request. We see the response in this window here. So this is how we send a post request using Postman. Now, you must be wondering, why are we seeing the response before writing the code for sending the request? Well, that's because in the response, we can see the exact details of the response, and while parsing our JSON, we can be sure of the key names in the response. So let's move to Studio and write the code for sending a post request. First, we will create a request queue as we did for the GET request. Then, we will create the variable for the URL. The process is the same as we did for GET request, but this URL is different. So make sure you put the correct URL here. Now, you remember we had passed null in our JSON object parameter for the GET request? That was because we did not need to send anything there. But here, we need to send the book ID. So let's create this object of JSON called JSON params. Here in the object, we will place the book ID since we want to send it in the post request. This here is the key, and this variable will give the value. Here if you see, the request queue looks exactly as it did while sending a GET request. Just that here we have given the request method as post, and JSON params will be sent as the JSON object. Also, we'll add the getHeaders method in the same way as we did for the GET request. We will put the code for handling response and errors next. For the response listener, first let's declare a variable to store the value of the key success. If the success is true, we'll hide the progress layout and parse the JSON according to the response that we saw in Postman. Remember to put this code inside the try-catch block as we can get a JSON exception here. While parsing JSON, we will set the appropriate data into the corresponding text views and also load the image in the image view using Picasso. For the errors, the code remains the same. Now let's run the app and check. Let's click on this book. Yes, we are taken to the description page for the book. But if you notice, we are not getting the image here. So let's go back to the studio and check the Picasso function we used to get the image. We have not used the into and error methods here. Let's add those and run the app again. Yes, we are getting the image now. But again, if you notice, the screen does not have the title on the toolbar. So let's go back and fix this. We'll go to the description activity.kt file. First, let's declare the toolbar and initialize it. Make sure while declaring the toolbar, you select this option. Then, we will use the setSupportActionBar method and in the parameters pass the toolbar. And then finally, we will set its title as Book Details. Now let's run the app and see if we get it right. We click on this book. Yes, the description screen now has a title on the toolbar. Now if you notice, the book price and the last line of the book description are getting cut in the view. So here is a learner activity for you. Go to the description activity.xml file and adjust the styling of the text views so that the text is visible. You can also try to place the Add to Favorites button inside the scroll view. So we have successfully completed this topic. We will also use the post request when we want to send the credentials to the server during login. Now, there is one more case that we need to take care of. So we know that the request can go to the server only when the device has internet connection. So we will first check that the device has internet and then only send the request, else we will show a toast. Let's go ahead and add that code here in the description activity.kt file. So here inside the if condition, we will use the check connectivity method of the connection manager class and pass the context as parameter. Then we will copy this entire code and paste it inside the if block so that it gets executed only if there is internet connection. Now finally, we'll handle the else block of the connection manager. That is, if there is no internet connection, we need to display the alert dialog box to the user. So we can go to the dashboard fragment.kt file and copy this code from here. Then we will paste it inside the else block. Now, for the context, we will change it to this @description activity, remove activity from here and also change the context here. So, we have handled this case and this brings us to the end of this topic. Click next whenever you are ready.